Welcome to Cities Skylines. This is made by the same company that did Cities in Motion, which dealt with traffic. It's not exactly the best game in the world, Cities in Motion, but it did stand them in good stead when they made this. This particular game says it's a full-blown city sim, and it's actually a lot better than the recent SimCity games. Now, I've been playing SimCity since the original. I mean, literally when it was first released. I've been into city gaming for 35 years. The first one I remember playing was Kingdoms, or rather Cedric's Kingdom on the VIC-20, Kingdoms on the BBC. Now, there was been SimCity 2000 and Caesar, all classic city games, and then a lot of just mediocre stuff. And what people consider good today, I don't really rate at all. SimCity 4, for instance, I didn't rate that at all. I haven't really liked the last SimCity either. Most of the other city games, like Tropico and Anno, are just stripped down city games really. They all miss something valuable that a city game needs, but not this one. Excuse me. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the basics of the game, the important bits, so you can see what the game's about. Now we're going to look first at industry. Now if you notice these little trucks leaving various places, we can see one, there's one, he's left some factory and he's going to pull into here. That's a dock, a cargo dock. That factory, or one of the factories where it came from, sent its goods to the dock to be exported, and these are the ships in the distance coming to pick it up. Now if that factory's vehicle didn't get to sell its goods, it'd go bust. It'd just close down. And each one of these trucks, if it fails to reach its destination, represents a loss to the factory it came from. So you've got a real supply and demand going on here. Of course, if you don't have enough docks to absorb the goods, or enough airports to absorb people, or stations to absorb people and goods, then obviously you're going to run into some trouble, because you're not going to be able to get rid of the goods produced, and your city's going to flatline. When I say flatline, you see these green, blue and orange bars here? They're going to be really low. It's because the demand and the supply just isn't there. Or rather, the supply's there, but the demand isn't. If we actually look here, this freighter, look down here, it should in a minute see something coming out of it. No, he's empty. It looks like he came in empty. There you go. They dropped some goods off. You see coming back out empty. Next freighter to come in, in fact there's one just left. Next freighter to come in will pick that up and he'll take it away, and the factory will make a nice little profit from it. Now you can't just build factories and expect them to make a profit. You've got to be able to sell their goods. The goods have got to be absorbed somewhere. So before we do, just look at this. This is a fire. I want to show you another aspect of the simulation whilst this is going on. There we go. The only way these fires are actually put out is if these people turn up and put the fires out. So the traffic is important. You can have the best fire service in the world, but if it can't get to the fire, see, it will put the fire out eventually. Anyhow, just wanted to show you that. Now back down to the cargo. Factories sell to the ports. They also sell to freight stations. Now I think I built one up here. Yeah, there we go. Now cargo is delivered by truck to here and taken away in trains. It's also brought in trains as well, which go off the edge of the map or around the map. You can see there's one coming in, there's one there. It gets quite busy on this map, by the way. Got quite a lot going on. In fact, we've got a jam there. Do you know, I've been actually running this map now for some time, and I've never seen this problem. I guess I've got too many stations and not enough track. Oh, it's all ground to a halt, isn't it? That's interesting. Anyway, this is what city games are for. When you see these problems, you go and fix them. For instance, I should probably it's fixing it automatically, look. Now we can get to see them in action. Now we come over here, it'll stop off here, the goods will be dropped off. I've got a lot of stations in this, by the way. See the trucks there leaving with the goods that are being dropped off, and now it's going to disappear again. The next train's going to come in and drop its goods off. Meanwhile, vehicles are dropping their goods for pickup. You see, so this absorbs goods produced in your factories. Passengers are absorbed from different type of station. If I can find one, I think there should be one. Where is it? Ah, it's up here, not far enough up. Here's one, look, passenger service here, look. See, they're getting on and off the trains, all simulated. These bring people into your town and take them out of your town. I've got a couple of airports up here, well 4, that do it. The bigger your town, the more stations you need, the more airports you need, the more ports you need. And these all bring in people. You just watch what happens here. Also notice the bus station down here as well. You see a lot of people coming out of there when it disembarks. Eventually, there we go. People coming out of the airport there. I'm into the airport. If I was to just click on that and follow the bus. Buses are supply and demand as well. They pick up passengers, drop them off. Just watch, you'll see it happen here. Everything's simulated. As you can see. Now, if we keep following this bus, we'll eventually see him drop them passengers off again. There we go. I haven't seen anybody get knocked down yet though. There we go, all getting dropped off. So you can rely on the simulation aspect of it. You know what it's going to do. This, by the way, is a custom map, one I made for myself. I wanted something that wasn't completely flat and boring, because the default maps are kind of boring. However, you do get quite a few on Steam Workshop, which are decent enough, which you can buy, well, not buy, download. Another fire, look. Now, if the fire brigade don't get there in time, it'll just turn into a burnt out Hulk. Have you noticed how all the companies are called Williams? In fact, see that this there, it just looks like a little bit of roofing until you move it across. That's the level of detail adjusting. It's probably one of the secrets why this game runs so smoothly from that all the way down to that. But I mean, you've got to admit, it looks brilliant, doesn't it? Anyway, there is something else as well. You see, I've actually, if I click on that, you'll see this area has been zoned, right? Or not so, district. I've turned it into a district, and I can click on this and say, right, I want that to be a farming district. See there, or I want it to be ore or oil, or just a generic industry one, and all the factories in that area would change. You're basically saying, I want this to grow food. I want this to mine for oil, you know, drill for oil, that kind of thing. Now you can erase a district from there as well, but something you won't see is if you click on the name there and click on that, you've got policies and services you can enable in this area, and you can enable these per district as well. City planning is a bit different though. First time you set it, it applies it to everything, not just the one you're on. But if I've just clicked on it again, you look on the name, there we go, the name's come up there. So if I was to click ban heavy traffic, none of these big heavy things there would be allowed in. Big heavy lorries, so they'd have to stay outside. Basically for an industry that would be a disaster. But if we were to find an area that's got vehicles going through it, heavy traffic going through it now, like this here, right, I could basically do this, take that, make it a bit bigger, say right, select all that area right here, and all that lot, and all that lot, but not that lot, and all that, right, and I could just go up to here, making sure the roads are clear in other directions. I could go to here, go to the name, right, go to policies, I could click on ban heavy traffic. Now all these trucks that are currently heading for the destination would now steer away from that district. Only the ones that are still en route now would go through it. Once they've reached their destination, a new course is plotted, these would all take a different route. They'd all come down here instead. So you've got all the heavy traffic would travel along the main motorways or main highways and not down the thin streets of a town. These ones here would be the last ones. You get buses though, the buses are still allowed by the way. But it's a good way of ruling out traffic. But now if you wanted to say right, I want them to go down one road only, right click and just draw up a road through the zone where you've got a heavy traffic ban, and now they can go down that road, but they can't go off down any of these side roads. They're forced to all travel down that one road. Now I'm not aware of any other city game that allowed you to do this in the planning, but as you can see, you can. There's a lot of trucks going down there now, but they're not using the side streets. You see, they're staying away from them. You should also see more, yeah, look, there are more coming down the sides here since that's the main route in. So you can use the districts and the policies to actually clearly define where the traffic goes and how it gets there. I mean, I could do the same here. I could make this road here for heavy traffic and then make all this lot here, you know, for just normal traffic, but this is an industry area, so yeah, so that'd be a bad idea. See, these are offices which are like clean industry and they're dirty industries. You've also, as you can see, you've got various levels. You've got standard residence, high residence, low density, high density, you know, normal industry, and then offices. You've also got buildings. You can see how many I've got on the map if I just do that. Hospitals, graveyards, crematoriums, incineration, lots and lots of stuff for water treatment. There's another thing, see that patch there, that's pollution. Here's my offshore wind farm right there. See? You don't put your water things downstream of these. They're pumping out pollution and you put your intakes there. These things here, water pumping station there, so you can't because that's the edge of the map, but if you did, then you just poison your own population. I put mine over here at the other side of the map. You see, right, they pump thing in. There's another thing, so you see the little arrows, that's the direction of the current, it's all simulated. I could actually build a dam across there now. Trouble is, it's not. I've noticed the waterway, whilst it's quite clever, doesn't really function correctly at this point in the game. You get all kinds of weird effects, like the current's too strong for the dam and it just overflows and things like that. You also get various unlocks. If I was to go to here, you get different unlocks according to you know, different things you've done in the game. Like that one there, 10,000 square of industrial zone for that. There's plenty of others. These ones I've already built. These ones I can build. You see, absolutely loads of them. Then you got here monuments. Now to build these, you've got to satisfy certain requirements. That requires a tax office. Now I believe I can build the tax office if I can find it. I think that's it there, tax office. So let's put the tax office somewhere on the map. Right, let's put it near the imports. There. Now if we go back to monuments, yeah, tax office, right. It hasn't registered I built the tax office yet. Probably takes a while to update. I've actually built that, by the way, so I know it works. I just don't know when it updates it. Anyway, traffic is also interesting, or rather transport. Here you've got buses, right? Now you can see the bus routes there. Bus routes are as simple as me selecting the bus thing there and then clicking there. You can go either side of the road, we'll click there, left click there, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, right click removes it, by the way, left click. There we go, we set ourselves a bus route. Same for other things as well, but obviously when you're building stations or subways like this, something you know that's been missing from many sim games of late, says you've got to lay down the station first and then set the route up. Obviously, here's a train. Trains are a bit difficult to set up because everything's in the way of, you know, and you can't build tunnels at the time, although I'm told they're becoming in a patch this week. Whether it will or not I don't know, but they said they're making it. But you've got to really build stuff over railways like we've done here. You see, the subway goes under, traffic goes over. You can do a level crossing, but when the traffic gets bad, that's a bad idea. You just get massive tailbacks. But you have passenger terminals and cargo terminals there, and airports. We've also got quite a bit for the power as well, from power lines to wind farms, coal, oil, dam, solar, and even nuclear. So it's quite a bit to build. And obviously city games are ideal candidates for DLC fests, which isn't so bad if you like the game, but it's a bit of a rip-off usually, because you're usually paying £5 for a building, which to me is a rip-off. But anyway, it says as the city games go, this is actually one of the better ones. It says it's one of these ones where you can actually just admire the simulation and go around it, but when you first start, you've got to keep some money back because you get buildings that you need, and if you don't build them in time, your city goes into a downward spiral and can never recover from it. But with spare cash you can. Now if you actually get to about 15-20,000 population, the game changes, because then you start looking at the roads and analysing traffic and using the stats up here to see, you know, where your traffic jams are and see if you can do anything about it. And you also you've got your education system. It says where the education routes, you know, where the schools area of influence is and stuff like that, and traffic and pollution, you see, all laid out. You start looking at these, you want to actually spend a lot of time in the info views when you run these games, because part of a city game is just looking down and analysing everything, what's going wrong. Like on this map, it's the trains, the railway tracks really are very good, you know, because I'm using quite a lot of stations, and there's been more than once when the trains have just jammed and I've had to wait for the game to notice and then remove one and let them flow again. So I'm going to have to concentrate on that. But everything else is quite good, you notice. It's not as bad as some cities are. I mean, this is 60 odd thousand, and or 65,000 pop, and the traffic's moving along quite nicely. It's only this road here which is basically going right up a peninsula. Well, I mean Peninsula Plateau, as you can see. Now if we actually get rid of that and just click on that bus and follow it, you can follow anything. As I've just missed it. So Holidays Green Van. You see, it's quite a good simulation. Traffic and everything, the buildings. He'll keep on going straight ahead until he moves into one of these right hand lanes, and then he'll be turning off. You can just imagine getting a bit of road rage here, can't you? Like, where did you learn to drive, you sod? Look at that! Yeah, come on, head right away. Anyway, oh yeah, you've got usual refuse, you know, dumps. These are full, but you also build like crematoriums, and after a while, when your graveyards get full, and you've got incinerators for waste and stuff. And this here is a passenger train. I might have to stop that to catch that. You get to see the map quickly like this. I think this only goes up to it, and then you've got to turn back. But however, you see different areas there, the city and the traffic. The reason why the traffic on this, by the way, isn't so bad is because I've actually zoned the high density residential next to major roads, and then I put minor roads next to the low density ones. You only run into trouble when you start doing high density residents like that next to low density roads, and then suddenly you've got traffic jam, or you know, you just don't lay your streets out properly. Some people like that squared look like that, you know, everything in uniform, but I prefer a more natural look, which is why I made this map. In fact, the bit I'm most proud of is down here. If you look at that, it's like a little gouge out the side of a mountain, and if you look, it's all uphill. You see? I haven't followed a policeman yet. Be interested where he goes. Oh, you get this slightly misty effect you get. You can turn that off from the preferences. There's actually quite a few settings. We go to here, options, graphics. It's this tilt shift. You can turn it down from there. See. Anyhow, the key point of this game, just before we close, is there's a supply and a demand. Everything is going somewhere. Goods have got to be sold either internally or to a station, a cargo place, or an airport, or some place that absorb it. Airports deal with people, passenger terminals deal with people, freight terminals deal with freight. So you know, when you start building lots of industry and you're not getting any growth, it's because you need to build more places to absorb the goods. Other than that, it's all about traffic, and I've showed you a trick on how to do that. See, you can force them to go down one route by using districts wisely. Before we go though, I'm going to just show you the districts again. Now if you look down here, it's not city planning but services. You've got quite a few here. You can make them conserve water, whatever, but it's going to cost you money to do so. Recreational use, you see, you can use that. You can basically, these are how you define your districts, make them unique, and it's how you can determine where the traffic's going and how it gets there. I mean, I've showed you up here already. Where was it? Here, that this little bit here was set, you know, as a forestry specialisation. So that's the only industry that grows there. So, well, you know, well, there's allowed there, and I've got another one down here that says ore, which is the only one that's allowed there. You see, and you can use your specializations when you build your city to really make it, to really fine tune it. And if I was to make an area that was mainly for recreation, then all the tourists would go there. So basically you want it near an airport, you know, so they're not travelling too far, or near a freight, near a passenger dock, like down here. Like I could put amusements, not amusements, but you know, I could define that as a recreational area, and then they'd just play around in that area all the time. There'd never be a lot of traffic going uphill to clog my streets up, because it'd be right where they need to be. Also, you get these special buildings which are quite big, as you can see. From place to place, and they attract tourists as well. But no, I don't want them. Anyway, that's Cities Skylines for you. If we actually look at the map here, just briefly, this differs from the built-in maps in the fact that there's hills in it and waterways that are quite steep. And if I had to go down to the eye height, you'll see that there's a lot of hills here. There isn't many flat areas. The default maps are a bit flat and boring, so I made my own. But in making my own, look at the city, it makes a massive difference to the city. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. As you can see, it's a really wonderful game. I hope you've actually seen enough of it to actually be able to enjoy, you know, the game yourself when you buy it, because obviously a lot of people just zoom right out, and that's what you get. Right, bye bye.